Welcome to another Resolve It in 30, where you bring the questions and we bring the answers. Today, we at the Greater Philadelphia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Kieran O'Connell are really thrilled to have Valeria Bossio with us. And Valeria is going to talk to us about something that is really, really important, and that is the insurance needs of a restaurant. Now, you would think, well, of course, restaurants are going to be insured, but the needs of a restaurant and the insurance go beyond just insuring the building. They have a lot to do with your financial solubility moving forward, as well as your ability to get loans, as well as your ability to have access to capital. So that having been said, let me turn it over. Valeria, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Kieran. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Valeria. I work for Barras Insurance. And what we do is we specialize in commercial and international insurance. We like helping our clients learn what they need. So whenever they get their insurance, they know what to get, how to ask for it, and how to be well prepared in case something happens. So let me start with my presentation. All right, so here on the first slide, we have the basic needs. And here I kind of use the SBA loans as guidance, but I'm gonna speak generally, okay? For example, we have the first one here that is general liability insurance. This is the basic one, the one that everyone, at least I hope so, that everyone has, okay? The general liability insurance has two parts: bodily injury and property damage. Think of this one as money that it's paid to someone else, third parties, okay? So if you own a restaurant, someone goes into your restaurant, slips, falls, gets hurt, and they wanna sue you, then you're covered, okay? Or if you have to deliver something, you hit the mailbox of your client by mistake, well, you're also covered. Now, another example that I always like to use is what is called advertising injury. Not many people know about this, but let's say you say something about your competitor that maybe they didn't like, that they think is false. They can sue you, okay? So one, be careful with that, but also if you have general liability, you will be covered. Now, let's take a look at the next one. It's the property insurance. And I do want to spend some time on this one because a lot of people get confused with this one. We get a lot of calls. I have a restaurant, I want insurance, I just want liability. That's the most common call that we get. And that's the one that we like the least. Why is that? Because property, a lot of restaurants rent their location. So the first thing they tell me is that they don't need property insurance because they rent. Okay, you mean you don't need coverage for the building because you're renting. What about your business property that's inside your restaurant, okay? That is inside your business. That's not covered by liability, and the building owner does not cover that. So restaurants, you're cooking food. You have a lot of fire. So fire hazard, it's something you have to be aware of. There's a lot of businesses that sadly, in my short career, I come across a couple of them that a fire started, they lost a lot of property, inventory, and they sent a claim to their insurance, and I was surprised they didn't have coverage. Okay, because you have insurance doesn't mean you are fully protected. You have to ask for the specific coverages. Okay, so what the business personal property does is protects your property, the chairs, the tables, the refrigerator, all the machinery that you may have inside your restaurant. This will be protected by the business personal property. It doesn't matter whether you own or rent the building. Of course, if you own the building, then you want to add that coverage as well. But if you rent it, which is majority of restaurants, please consider the property insurance. Of course, if you're getting an SBA loan, it is a requirement. I believe the minimum that you have to have is $25,000 per personal property. So keep that in mind. I wanted to spend some time with that one because, again, a lot of people get confused. It's what you own that will be protected, okay, inside your building. Even if you decide to add a wall because you want in an office, that will also be protected. If something happens and you lose everything, the building owner is only gonna remake the building. Whatever was inside, that's your problem, all right? Another thing that people don't know is about life insurance in regards to business, right? Life insurance is something you think of a more of a personal thing to protect your family in case you pass away. Yeah, it's true, but it can also be used for business. Now, the SBA requires life insurance in case you're a sole proprietor or the only owner of an LLC, right? They want you to have coverage in case something happened to you. You have to have the full amount of the loan covered by your life insurance, all right? So that's the requirement for the SBA. Now, there's another way you can use life insurance in the business aspect, and this is not a requirement for the SBA, just general knowledge, is that if you have a partner, okay, a business partner, you can also put your business partner as a beneficiary of your life insurance policy. How does this work? Well, think about it. If you have a partner and something happens to you, you usually have things divided, right? You do certain work, your partner does the other half. If something happens to you, is your partner able to keep going on his own or her own? Do they have the enough in the bank to keep going without you, right? So having a minimum amount of life insurance and having your partner as a beneficiary will help your partner financially to keep going with the business. Okay, so that's another way to consider life insurance. All right, those are the basic needs. Now I'm gonna talk about some extra coverages that you may need along the way. All right, so here we have, again, if you have employees, you need workers' compensation. There's really not much I can say about it. It's just the law. If you're in PA, you need workers' compensation. If you're in New Jersey, you need workers' compensation. And last time I checked, I believe Delaware worked the same way. If you're watching us from there, then again, it's just the law. Workers' compensation, as long as you have more than one employee, you need it. Now, let's talk about the next two ones. This is if you own real estate. So basically, if you're the building owner, then again, you need property insurance. This is very similar to what we talked earlier, but you need to insure the building, right? Now here you will be insuring the whole thing. And lastly, product liability insurance. Now this one might not be so relevant for restaurants, but I have come across some restaurants that maybe have a section where they sell souvenirs, especially Hispanic countries, you know, souvenirs from their country. I've come across a lot of those really pretty things they have. But in that case, I do recommend product liability insurance. What this does, it's basically you have a product, a physical product that it's sold to a client. That product leaves your premises, right? And you didn't know, but it had a defect, or someone used it in not the right way, right? And they can sue you. If something happens, if someone gets hurt, a child gets hurt, anyone, they can sue you. That will be the product liability insurance. It is technically divided within the group of recall, product recall. You don't necessarily have to recall all the products, but that's when this coverage will kick in. The general liability insurance will not cover you in a case like this, okay? Because we're talking about a specific product that left the premises that you already sold to someone. So in that case, you need product liability insurance. But again, it's not really that relevant to restaurants unless you sell the physical product. Like, I don't know, magnets, keychains, something like that, right? All right, and then let's go to the next slide. And of course, I haven't mentioned this, but all of these are SBA insurance requirements. If you're getting a loan, the requirements that you have to have, of course, depending on your situation. Do you own the business or the building? Do you rent? Do you have a product? No. All right. Okay, now here we're kind of going a little away from the restaurant, but still important. If you provide a service, for example, me, I provide a service. right? Insurance is a service. We have something called professional liability insurance. What this does is basically protects professionals that give a service, right? So if, let's say I give you, I don't know, an advice, and then it was wrong, or it was misunderstood, and you lose money, you lose a client, something happens, and then you want to sue me. Then I'm covered because I have these things called professional liability insurance, or also called errors and omissions. This is not so relevant for restaurants unless you offer some type of service inside the restaurant, right? You know, some type of, I don't know, legal advice, anything like that, but it has to happen within your restaurant. If it doesn't, then you probably don't need this one. And we also have liquor liability insurance. So this is very relevant for restaurants, especially those that sell alcohol. So this policy or this coverage can be added to the general liability. You just say that you sell alcohol in your premises, and then this will be added. Why this is important? Because you serve alcohol in your restaurant. You never know what's going to happen with that person that consumed that alcohol, right? Maybe they were the drivers and you didn't know that. And that person drives home, but in the way they cause an accident. Someone gets hurt. They can sue you because you were the one selling the alcohol. Okay, that's when liquor liability insurance comes in hand. And I believe in a lot of states, if you sell alcohol, you're required to have this coverage. But again, this is something included in the general liability. You just have to say that you sell alcohol. All right. And again, of course, if you're getting an SBA insurance loan, they are going to make sure that you have that coverage if you sell any type of alcohol. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next and last one. And this one is more of an SBA insurance requirement thing. Other potential requirements might include flood insurance. This is just if you're in a flood area zone. There is designated areas in the country. So if you're in one of those areas, then you need that to get a loan. Okay. Another thing is hazard insurance, really not related to restaurants. And of course, marine insurance, probably the least relevant to restaurants, but still it can be included if you ever need an SBA insurance or SBA loan, sorry. All right, so that's all I have from my part. I went over the basic coverages, general liability, business property, and life insurance as well. Believe it or not, it's really good to have. And other extra coverages that you may or may not need depending on what goes on inside your restaurant. If you're just a common restaurant that sells food, then a few of them are not relevant to you. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm happy to help. Thank you.
Valeria, I have a couple of questions.
Great.
First of all, great presentation. And one of the things that really comes forward is as one of our hospitality entrepreneurs, somebody who's got that a restaurant, catering business, et cetera, et cetera. It certainly sounds to me like a telephone call from them to you would be very, very helpful to them to understand exactly what it is that they're going to need, whether they're going for an SBA loan, a regular commercial loan, or they're taking money out of their own pocket, right?
Yes. Okay.
So how would our constituency get in touch with you?
Oh, great question. So they can get in touch with me many ways. I'm all over the place. Of course, they can have find my information in the website of the chamber. I am on social media or website. It's called Varas Insurance. I have the information at the very beginning here.
Perfect.
My email, it's vbossio, right? My initial and then my last name @varasinsurance.com. The phone number is the phone number of the office. but 99% of the time it's me who answers the phone. So feel free to call. And of course, our website, contact form, we speak, and by we, I mean I speak Spanish and Japanese as well. So I can help you in more than one language.
That's great. So so let me also ask, okay, I have a couple of other questions. I own a restaurant. I just saw this recording. I think, boy, I better call Valeria. I better call her. I'm not sure that I'm properly insured. Okay, but I have a limited budget. All righty. Can you work within the parameters of somebody's budget, Valeria, or is it the other way around where you tell them what it is that they need based on the size or the sales or the products that they're serving?
Okay, so yeah, that's a great question. Well, for example, for us, we don't have a fee for any consultation or quote. So all of that you don't have to worry about. It's free. For the quote, we will need, of course, business information. How much is your revenue? And I always ask this: how much are you paying now, or how much are you looking to pay? That gives me an idea of what I can propose to the client, or when I can call and be like, I'm sorry, but I couldn't find anything within your budget, right? It prepares me on how to give you an answer. Now, I usually get a lot of phone calls and the clients say, I don't really know what I need, right? So when I get something like that, I start with the industry basics. For example, the basics for the restaurant industry is having $1 million limit of liability, all right? I start there. And then if the quote comes back too high, maybe it's out of the budget of the client, I was like, okay, let's lower it to $750, right? And then I wouldn't want to lower less than that. And I will give you the reasons why. Maybe your business is growing, or your business is too big. You may have more liabilities here and there. That's why I don't feel comfortable going below that, or you will be at risk, right? And I give you the basics first, the basic coverages for everything. And if it's too high, then we start moving around. If it's comfortable, then I ask, okay, you may want to increase here and there, right? And after I give you the basic, I get your feedback, and then we work with you.
Okay, that sounds great, because, obviously, sometimes when you're getting started, or, especially coming out of the pandemic, and you want to be properly insured, but, things have been a little bit tight. You want to make sure that everything's okay. And it's wonderful to know, in case you folks didn't hear it, let me repeat what Valeria said. Give her a call. The consultation is free. It doesn't cost a dime. It doesn't cost a dime to have a professional like Valeria, care about your business and offer you the best advice possible. And if you're saying, gee, that's a little high for me, you heard what she said, we'll work with you. I mean, they want to make sure that our businesses are covered appropriately. Okay, that's important. It really is important. Now, Valeria, let me ask you one other question on that product liability piece. Okay, talk about, and it happens all the time, little souvenirs or things like that, keychains, you got a little baby in the car, the baby gets the keychain, the baby, chews off, paint off the keychain, the baby gets sick. Those are the types of funny little things that nobody ever thinks about, that happen all the time, that you as a proprietor are going to get sued for. And believe me, people will sue for anything these days. Okay, so it is although people say, oh, I'm never going to need that, no, it's a good thing to really consider and think about. Now, on the side with if you sell alcohol, an organization sells alcohol, that's clearly understandable, because you want to have insurance for that, because in case somebody has a drink there and has an accident or something happens, that but what if, let me just ask this, what if it's a bring your own, okay, and somebody has a little bit too much on your, you're in your restaurant, but it's a bring your own, they have a little bit too much, they're going home, how does insurance help them at that level?
So that's a great question. Actually, in the application, whenever you try to get insurance for your business, there's a question. Do you need liquor liability, or do you sell liquor, or is it bring your own? Right? Whenever it's bring your own, most of the time you're covered by the general liability. but at the same time, it's good to have the liquor liability, because I don't have the specifics and I might have to get back to you on that one. But because you're bringing your own, it's kind of your responsibility. But at the same time, it's happening within your business. So it's kind of a great area where you would like to be fully prepared in case someone decides to sue you, right?
Right.
But because it's bring your own, it's mostly on the person that it's drinking it rather than the restaurant.
Right. But I do know that there are cases in the past where somebody has done that and they go after the restaurant, because what they say is, even though I brought my own alcohol, somebody should have seen that I was drinking too much, and maybe just kind of tap me on the shoulder. So that's
exactly. It's always good to be covered. Even if you don't sell it, you're still allowing it in your premises.
Right.
So you still want to take a look at the liquor liability, right? And whatever your agent or broker recommends you, because it's part of the application. Like I said, do you sell alcohol or is it bring your own? If it's no, both, then great. You don't need anything liquor related. But if it is one of those, then most likely you do.
Well, Valeria, I want to thank you very much for taking the time today to bring this information that's specific to our restaurants and the restaurant industry, to us, because it really makes a difference. And especially, coming out of the pandemic where things have been a little, a little slow, so to speak, making sure that everything is, ready to go as you're, getting everything back up to snuff. That's the way to go. So one more time, Valeria, tell me how to get in touch with you before we say goodbye.
Of course, you guys can find me. You can go to the website of the company, Varas Insurance, or my email. It's vbossio@varasinsurance.com, or the phone number is 201-530-7773. Also, something I didn't mention is I actually go to businesses. I go visit the business. So if you are in the Philadelphia area and you want me to come in person, I will do that happily.
Folks, that is unheard of. Okay, that is unheard of. Valeria is saying, I'm happy to come to you. Okay, and that doesn't happen all that often, that much anymore. So that's real customer service. That's real professionalism. That's why Valeria is a valued member of the Greater Philadelphia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And if you can't get her, guess what? You give us a call here at the Chamber, and we will put you in touch with Valeria. So make sure that you're covered. So Valeria, once again, thank you so much for your time. This was amazing. Okay, everybody, Valeria Bossio, she's the one to go to for insurance. Thanks, everybody.